He's burning, you can feel it the moment your hand touches his forehead. It's not just warm, it's dry, tight, trembling hot. The kind of heat that comes from the inside out, the kind that scares you. His breath is fast, too fast. His lips are cracked, his eyes are open, but they don't focus anymore. He's looking past you, not at you, like he's seeing something else or nothing at all. You don't know what it is. You've seen sick children before. Some get better, some don't. No one tells you why, they just say God's will. But this feels different. It came on too fast. He was playing in the yard 2 days ago, laughing, throwing sticks. Now he can't sit up, can't eat, can't speak, he just sweats. And breathes like he's running in a dream he can't wake from. You try wiping him down with a wet cloth. The water's already gone cold in the bowl. There's no fire left, no wood to heat more. You wring out the rag and place it on his chest. He flinches, then goes still. You call his name, quietly, then louder. He doesn't answer. His fingers twitch against the blanket, thin, lice-bitten damp. That's all you have to cover him. Your wife hasn't moved from his side. She hasn't spoken in hours. She just sits there, one hand on his shoulder, the other gripping the edge of the mattress like she's trying to hold the boy's soul in place. Her eyes are red, not from crying. She stopped crying yesterday. Now she just stares at him, at the wall, at the ceiling, anywhere but at you. You think about going to get help, but who? The healer in the next village wants coin. You have none. The priest, he won't come tonight. It's too late. And even if he did, what would he do? Say prayers in Latin you don't understand, sprinkle water, draw a cross. Your son is dying and you can feel it. Not in a dramatic way, not with screams or blood. Just in the slow, steady way he's fading, one breath shallower than the last. You try not to panic. You tell yourself fevers pass. You've seen them pass, but then you remember the neighbor's child, the shaking, the silence. The small, empty grave outside the fence line, and you realize you have nothing, no remedy, no knowledge, no name for what's killing him, just a rag, a prayer you barely remember, and time running out, you don't know what's happening. You've watched his body change in a single day, heat rising like fire from under the skin, sweat pouring until his blanket clings to him like paste, then suddenly nothing. A stillness that doesn't feel like rest. He breathes, but it's shallow. You call his name and he doesn't answer. His lips move, but no sound comes out. And the truth is, you don't even know if he's dreaming or slipping away. You ask the midwife. She touched his wrist for a moment, barely glanced at his face, then stood up and shook her head. She said maybe it was the wind or bad air or a punishment. She didn't explain who was punishing him or why. Just whispered, "This is beyond you," and left without meeting your eyes. You asked your neighbor. He crossed himself quickly and said, "It's in God's hands now." But you don't even know what that means. Is God watching this? Is he behind it? Is he testing you or punishing you for something you don't even remember doing? You've done everything they told you. You tilled the land, paid your tithe, said your prayers. Let the priest sprinkle water over your son's head before he turned 2 weeks old. You built a house with your bare hands and buried your father where the church allowed. And still, here you are, kneeling beside your son, and no one will tell you what's killing him. No one comes, no one stays. And those who do only bring vague words and tighter silences. They tell you to have faith, to trust, to accept, but you don't hear anything from heaven. Only the wet rasp of your child's breath and the occasional creak of the wood above you as wind pushes through a broken roof tile. You look down at him, his face sunken, his lips dry and gray, and you realize. You are not waiting for help, you are waiting for it to end, and no one will say it, no one dares, so they just call it his will and walk away. Leaving you in a room filled with smoke, sweat, and silence, and the growing certainty that what's coming is unstoppable, and worse, unknowable. You try to pray. You sit beside your son and whisper the words you've heard all your life. But they don't feel like yours, they're just sounds, Latin, heavy, hollow, passed down like rope in a well, soaked in echoes. You don't know what they mean, you were never taught, you were told to memorize, not understand. So you repeat what the priest says on Sundays, but slower, softer, afraid you'll say it wrong. and somehow damn him by accident. Your lips move. But your hands shake. You wish you could open the Bible, read the words they say are holy. Say something real, something true, but the book is in a language locked away from you. You were never allowed to learn, never invited to know, so instead you just mutter, over and over, the same 3 or 4 lines, like a child copying a song he never liked. And inside, you wonder if God even hears it, because you don't. You sit in the corner and try again. You speak the words slowly, hoping that the tone is enough, that maybe rhythm counts more than understanding. But it doesn't feel like prayer. It feels like begging in the dark, like knocking on a door that no one ever opens. The boy stirs, lets out a sharp breath, and turns his head slightly toward you. For a moment, you think he's heard you, that maybe your prayer reached him. But then his eyes roll back again, and you're left staring at the ceiling, at the cracked beams overhead, asking nothing, expecting nothing. Just moving your mouth because you were told you should, because in this world it's better to say something meaningless than nothing at all. The priest comes in the early evening. He doesn't knock. Just opens the door with a slow creak, like he's been here before, like he already knows what's inside. He doesn't speak to you, doesn't greet your wife. He steps in carefully, the hem of his robe brushing the dirt floor, and moves toward the boy without asking. Without permission, you step back even though you weren't in his way. His eyes don't meet yours. He doesn't ask what happened. He doesn't ask how long the boy has been sick. He doesn't ask if you're afraid. He just mutters a phrase in Latin and begins. He dips his fingers into the small flask of holy water at his hip, sprinkles it across your son's face. The drops hiss slightly against the heat. Your son doesn't move. The priest places 2 fingers on the child's forehead and draws the sign of the cross. His voice stays flat, quiet, indifferent. Your wife doesn't move. She hasn't spoken since last night. She just sits there, staring at the priest's hand as it hovers above your son's head. Her fingers twitch once when he says the name of a saint, not your son's name, not even a familiar one, just a name from the book. One of the many you can't read. You try to follow the words. You've heard parts of this prayer before on burial days. The cadence is familiar, soft Latin phrases falling one after another like stones dropped in a well. You don't know what any of it means. You wish he would say something to you. Anything, that it's not too late, that there's hope, that God is merciful, but he doesn't. He finishes quickly, too quickly. He wipes his hands with a cloth from his sleeve. Looks at your wife, but not at her eyes, nods once, then turns back toward the door, still not a word to you, no blessing, no comfort, no explanation. You want to stop him. Ask if your son has a soul yet, if the water was enough. If it counted, if it was in time, if he'll be remembered by name, but your mouth won't open, and the priest is already gone. The door creaks closed, and you're left alone with a boy who's barely breathing, a woman who doesn't speak. And a room full of prayers no one explains. She hasn't spoken since dawn. At first she tried. She asked for more water, asked if he had eaten anything, asked why his lips were so pale. Then she asked you quietly, do you think it's the plague? You told her no, but the way your voice cracked gave you away. She didn't ask again after that. Now she sits in the corner, back hunched, arms wrapped around the boy like rope. His body is small enough that she can hold him entirely in her lap like when he was still a baby. One hand supports his head, the other just rests on his chest, fingers splayed, waiting for each breath. You notice how still her breathing is now, how stiff her shoulders are, how long she's gone without blinking. She doesn't respond when you speak. You've said her name 3 times, maybe 4. The first time she flinched. The second, she closed her eyes. The third, nothing. You stopped after that. You want to think she's praying, but her lips aren't moving, and there's no light in her eyes. She isn't hoping anymore. She's doing something worse. She's remembering. You can see it in the way she touches his face. Slowly, precisely, like she's tracing the memory of his features, the bridge of his nose, the corner of his mouth, the faint line across his eyebrow from when he fell chasing the goat. She's collecting these things silently, storing them somewhere behind her eyes, because soon that's all she'll have left. She shifts once. He whimpers just barely. Her hand tightens just for a moment, then releases. No panic, no reaction. Just the mechanical instinct of a mother who has no tools left. She hasn't eaten today. She hasn't changed clothes. Her hair is stuck to her face. Her knees are tucked under her, numb from hours in the same position. You know she's in pain, physical pain, but she doesn't move. Because if she lets go of him, even for a second, she's afraid something will vanish. And the worst part is you understand, so you stop trying to help. You sit near but not close, you don't speak, you don't move, because this room doesn't belong to you anymore. It belongs to her, and to the boy, and to the silence between them, a silence heavier than anything you've ever carried. You've heard stories of mothers wailing, tearing their clothes, screaming to the sky. She doesn't do that, she just holds him, and waits, because she knows what's coming, and she's already begun saying goodbye. One memory at a time. You start talking to him again, not with practiced prayers or memorized lines, but with the raw voice of someone who has nothing left to offer but himself. You speak quietly, hunched in the corner, back against cold stone, hands shaking in your lap. Your son is still breathing barely. The air smells like sweat and smoke. The candle flickers. Your wife hasn't moved in hours, and you begin to make a deal. You tell him to take you instead. Take your strength, your blood, your breath. Take your hands, your eyes, your life. Leave the boy. Spare him. He's young. He hasn't lived long enough to do anything wrong. He doesn't know what sin means. He's never missed mass, never lied to a priest, never spoken ill of God. You have. You've done all of it and worse. You've stolen grain when you thought no one was looking. You've cursed the sky when your crops failed. You've wanted things you never confessed. If this is punishment, you tell him, let it land where it belongs. But nothing changes. The boy still burns, his lips still tremble, the shadows still crawl across the ceiling like slow worms, and the silence presses heavier. So you begin to promise things. You say you'll fast through winter. You'll work without rest. You'll never sleep indoors again. You'll give up wine, meat, warmth. You'll kneel until your legs give out. You'll never ask for anything else ever, just this. Just let him stay. Still nothing, no shift, no warmth. No sign. You try harder, you beg, you cry. Not loud, but quietly, the kind of crying that sounds more like breathing through broken glass. You bite your fist so you don't wake him. You stare up at the ceiling and whisper, please, over and over, like a drum beat against a locked door. Then at some point, you don't even know when, you stop. The words dry up, the rhythm fades. You're still sitting there, mouth open slightly, but nothing comes out. You don't feel angry. You don't even feel disappointed. You feel hollow, like the part of you that used to believe someone was listening has gone quiet too. You lean your head back against the wall and stare at the dying light. The candle is nearly gone. The air is cold. You no longer know what hour it is or what day. You've run out of bargains, run out of prayers, run out of ideas. There's no one left to ask, no one coming, and so you stop speaking. Not because you've accepted anything, but because even desperation needs an audience. And in this room, there's only you, a child slipping away, a wife turned to stone, and a God who, if he's here, has already made up his mind. It happens slowly, so slowly that at first you don't notice it. His breathing, which was once ragged and frantic like a bird trapped under cloth, starts to quiet. You think maybe that's good, maybe the fever is breaking. Maybe he's resting, but then you realize something's wrong. His chest isn't rising as high. The pauses between each breath are longer, deeper, more uncertain, like his body is deciding whether or not it wants to keep trying. You lean forward and place your hand lightly on his ribs. They're barely moving. Each inhale is shallow, each exhale barely audible. The warmth that once radiated off his body is beginning to retreat, inch by inch, from his hands, his feet, the tip of his nose. His skin is pale now, no longer flushed. It looks thinner somehow, translucent. You want to believe this is a turning point, that he's stabilizing, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like something is slowing down. Like time itself has thickened inside this room, and every tick is stuck, every breath harder to come by than the last. Your wife notices it too. She hasn't spoken for nearly a day, but now her eyes flicker toward you, just once. A glance, it's the first time she's acknowledged your presence in hours, and it says everything. She knows, she's known longer than you have. She lowers her head again, pressing her cheek to his temple, her hand cupping his shoulder as if trying to lend him her breath. But there's nothing left to give. You sit back, legs numb, spine aching. You don't know what to do anymore. You've prayed, you've bargained, you've begged. None of it mattered. Now all that's left is to wait. But for what exactly? A miracle, a death. A noise, a movement, something. You realize you don't even know what comes next. If he dies now, what do you do? Bury him. Where? Is it still consecrated ground if the priest already left, if the rites weren't complete? Was he even awake when the water touched his skin? Will they say he had a soul? Will they say he did? You try not to think about the questions, but they come anyway, because the church was always clear about the rules. And now, in this moment where you need something, anything, no one is here to explain what happens after the breathing stops. The air is cold, the fire has long gone out, and still you sit, counting seconds between each shallow breath, wondering if you've already missed the last one without knowing it. The room is quiet now, too quiet. You don't remember the last breath. You were watching, you were listening, but somehow it still happened without you noticing. One moment he was there, chest rising ever so gently. The next, nothing. No twitch, no sound, no movement. You reach out and place your hand on his chest. It doesn't rise, it doesn't fall. And beneath your palm there's no warmth left. He's gone, but no one says it. Not you, not your wife. She still cradles him, still rocks back and forth, slower now, gentler, as if trying not to wake a sleeping child. Her face is blank, her eyes are open, staring past the wall. She doesn't cry, she doesn't make a sound. She just holds what's left and keeps rocking, as though rhythm alone could call him back. You sit still, afraid to move, afraid that if you do, something inside you will collapse. You feel your heart beat loud, too loud now, in your ears, in your throat, in the back of your eyes. And somewhere behind all of it, the thought creeps in. What now? What do you do with this? Do you bury him tonight? Do you wait for morning? Was the priest's blessing enough? Was it done properly? Was the water clean? Was the Latin correct? Was he awake? Did it count? You do know, no one ever explained how it works. You've been told a soul needs rites, needs confession, baptism, passage. You're not even sure if he had all of that. You're not sure if anyone did it right. And if they didn't, what happens to him? Where does he go? Will they bury him in church ground? Will they let him be named from the pulpit? Or will they say nothing? You want to believe he had a soul. You want to believe it's safe now, somewhere warm, somewhere peaceful. But all you see is this small, still body in your wife's arms, growing colder by the minute. And no voice from heaven has arrived to tell you anything different. So you sit in the silence and listen and wait, but there is no light. No sound, no comfort, just the weight of what's gone, and the bitter knowledge that even in death, you still don't know if your son was ever truly allowed to exist.